Hello students, this is Dr. Deb Watry giving you a little of information about week 2 and getting you started to get you going so we do have a good week. Welcome to our second week. Week 2 overview now. You'll have the video I'm doing now, but lots of reading and materials. This already, I see some people have already posted their city form, so thank you, and you're keeping right up with the work. The annotated bibliography, I'll be talking a little bit about what that is and critiquing it. Please use this resource right here. There's information on how to use the library. Very important because that's where you're going to get your research. And I've done some student examples of bibliographies and critiques for you. This is your discussion prompt. Make sure that you do your initial post by November 6th, and then doing some additional resources for writing chapter 1. In that week's reading materials, some review of websites of what you're going to be taking a look at if you're still working on your city training. Chapter 3 is how to use that literature to research your problem. So important reading in the BWE text today. This is about a 3-page PowerPoint on what you need to do for that bibliography, what it should be in there. And this is a 2-page resource for you. The second page at the bottom is a chart on what your critique form should look like, and then just an additional short review on a website on doing that annotated bibliography. One page from the PowerPoint that I pulled out, these are the requirements, okay, for doing that bibliography. Most of them are about 1.5 pages to 2 pages long when you're writing this annotated bibliography. So do follow the criteria and requirements and spend some time in reading that study. This is a copy of that second page of writing the critique in the same form. These are the questions you'll address. Each critique should be 1 page or more in length. And these are articles now that you're going to find in the library that are attuned to your study, that provide a background and a base for where your research fits in. I am going to walk you through just a sample of an article that I was researching. So to talk about a little bit finding those quality references, and this is going to the University of Wisconsin Superior Library. There's a drop-down menu. I selected databases because it says choose your database. There was another drop-down menu where I selected education because that's what I'm dealing with, and then I selected the EBSCOhost resource. I was looking at mentoring college students and types of urban programs that were out there. So before I even did my search for this, I did do some refining because I wanted to have a full text article. Okay, I want it to be an academic journal. That's very important. And I believe there's also a tab that you could say peer-reviewed journal that would be helpful. I selected the language I wanted it in, and I wanted it to make sure that it was a PDF full text. So when I did my search, I ended up with about 25 articles, and I thought better start looking at them. Number 13 caught my eye because it does deal with a topic I was interested in researching. Using youth advocates for at-risk students in urban settings. So what you really want to pay attention to, I know I have 3 authors, but this is the title of the journal, the year, and that's important. I don't want something that was 1958, I want to have something that's going to be somewhat current, 10 to 12 years I believe the text says. This is the volume number, the issue number, and some journals don't have issue numbers. Page numbers, this is important. It's a 6-page article. I should have some meat in that article. If it's a quarter page or 2 pages, not enough information. This I can't stress enough because in your reference page you need to provide the DOI number. So when you find an article that you want to save the article, but you might want to take a picture of this so you have all of the information that you need. That DOI number is very important. Some other things, I know this was academic journal, and it is, I can get the full article. It's PDF full text, and that's something because I want to be able to read that right away. So again, children in schools, This was number 13 out of 25. Another thing that I'm going to check here is the subject terms. Does it fit in with my subject area? I'm going to do a quick read of the abstract to make sure that it's something that would fit in with my research. If it's not something that fits in my research, that abstract will tell me. This is not something you cut and paste and put in your bibliography, because it will not cover the criteria of what you need to do for your bibliography, but use it as a guide to help you find out quality articles. Another thing, what if they don't have a DOI? You have to provide the website for the article. Now, a number of students previously will see, here's my article, and find out, okay, I'm just going to copy this right here because here's the website. The University of Wisconsin-Superior is not the right website. Okay, so you can't use that, because if someone outside the School of Education at the university would like to find this resource, this will not take them there because they're not a member of the university. Okay, so don't copy this link. I'm going to show you how to do that in just a second. Remember, this was the title, the journal. Okay, Children in Schools. Okay, so I want to find what is the website. APA requires that you put in the website of the journal. Okay, so what is the website of this journal? So I clicked on it and wanted to make sure it was right. This comes out of the University of Oxford. Okay, it's a very quality resource here. Children in Schools is the name of the journal. I know if I went to this website, I can get previous issues. So I should be able to type in the article and the authors and get right to that article. So anywhere I am, I can find the issue that I would need. Okay, and here is the correct website. This is the website of the journal. So I did a Google search of that journal, and I wanted to get to that publication's homepage, and this then is the website. So when I'm looking and wanting to reference that website, this is that website that I just copied. This would be an incorrect website because it's the University of Wisconsin website for that article, and that is not an incorrect website on how to cite that article in APA format. So now when I'm making a reference list, so when you do your bibliography and your critiques, when you start writing your chapters 1, 2, and 3, you have to create that reference. Okay, so I'm going to talk about that because this is very important, and I'll paste this PowerPoint also so you can go back and refer to it. You only use the initials of the authors. Authors are listed in alphabetical order. Last name, comma, first initial, period, semicolon between the authors. Okay, when you have 3 or more authors, when you get to the last one, this indicates to me and the reader, this is your last author. End it with a period. This is the publication year. Now some articles or journals do not have the April. I would just have 2006. Again, something very, very important with citing titles of articles. Notice the capitalization. Only the first word of an article is capitalized. Okay, the rest isn't. If you have a colon, say there was a colon right here. If you have a colon in a title of an article, then this word would be capitalized. End of the article, a period. I need to apologize for this when I cut and paste it. This is the title of my journal, and it should be italicized. So again, title of the journal should be italicized. I'm sorry that didn't show up this way. Here is my volume number. Here is my issue number. Okay, if there is no issue number, it'd be 28, comma. There's no P for page. You just list the page numbers right here. Now this is why the DOI is very important. You start out with these letters. This was a change made in, I believe, 2017 in APA style. You start out with this abbreviation right here, and then your DOI number. DOI is not capitalized. Any DOI number will start with 10. Now if this was an article, if this was an article that had a website and not a DOI, we would write it as retrieved from, and remember this is that website for that journal. Again, I apologize, this should be italicized. What do you need for your research? You're going to start your research looking this week and into next week, but you should accumulate between 8 to 10 articles. Okay, and these are quality journal articles that you want to use. You can use Google Scholar and find articles out that way, but I encourage you to use the UW Superior Library. Some of your research in Chapter 1 as you're going out and explaining what the issues are. You want some government statistics. You can use government documents. You may also find that you use the statistics from the Wisconsin DPI website or your own school district website. So the WISE-Dash website might be something you'll be using in your research as you're explaining your problem in Chapter 1. The other thing for your writing is at the end of week 2, I already put in Chapter 1 resources for you, because you remember I said this is heavy writing course, and writing those chapters does take time. So our text does provide good examples and good structure. I'll talk a little bit about that in week 3 video, but this is the template that you use in writing that Chapter 1. And then some other resources on how to help you of writing Chapter 1. This one right here tells you, what goes here, what goes there. A number of students struggle with what limitations and delimitations are, so a resource for you. And when you're writing, the in-text citations, very important. How do you cite authors? Where do you put that in a paragraph? I do not like to send a paper back and say, what's your source? What's your source? What's your source? Because you can't put anything in your paper that came out of a reference you used without citing it. So do take a look at this resource. I know in writing in this week's work, you'll be heavy writing. Laying the groundwork of what should you be looking for in a study is important as you do those bibliographies and critiques, because that then is a resource and a skill that you can use in doing your other readings. But doing that research, it is very intense, and it does take a lot of time. And if you remember, I talked about chunking some time so that you don't have to spend all of the weekend. Throughout the week, spending some time and gathering your articles and your information. So that is a very important part, because your Chapter 1, you really do want to lay the groundwork of, there's been research that's been done very similar to your study. You want to ground your study in prior and past research so that people say that, hey, this is an important topic. And this person has a solid background in understanding their topic, and I can see where their topic fits in with what other research has been done. So it's very important. I know I'm looking forward to reading your bibliographies and your critiques of articles, but I also want you to get a jump start on getting your information gathered and together for Chapter 1. So I hope you have a good week. Don't forget to email me if you're having questions or concerns, and we'll get back to you and keep you up to date as much as possible.